guess.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just the way, because
it's opposite of everything you've ever done or believed in.
Yeah, because it's a classic movie, the way it's written and that, and I just think it's unbelievable acting and the way it's written.
I would think it would be like The Ting.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's hear some of this acting. I'm excited.
Okay.
Get a little mood music. Raven, do you have
You're going to be amazed at this, because I was.
Yeah.
All right, we're going back to 1946. 1946, I meant.
You don't mess with him.
Yeah. He knows this.
Yep.
And, all right. It was a simpler time. Al was 27 years old.
I was 27, yeah. I was Bob's age.
Yeah.
I'll try to do both voices, but they might sound the same after a while.
No, you're going to do fine.
Who are you,
I'm just
and then he went and got a cigar.
Hello, Mr. Potter.
Mr. Potter, you want to go to an Eagles game?
I'm here in Iran.
You want the moon? You want the moon? I'll throw a Geno steak around it and lasso it.
That's what I'll do.
All right.
Okay. Hit the music.
Buffalo girls, can't you come out tonight? Come out tonight, can't you come out tonight? Buffalo girls, can't you come out tonight? And dance by the light of dawn.
What do you wish for when you threw that rock?
Open. Interior, Potter's office. It is day. Close shot. Potter is lighting a big cigar, which he has just given George. The goon is beside Potter's chair, as usual. George.
Thank you, sir. Quite a cigar, Mr. Potter.
Potter.
You like it? I'll send you a box.
George, nervously.
Well, I suppose I'll find out sooner or later, but just what exactly do you want to see me about?
Potter laughs.
George, now, that's just what I like so much about you.
Pleasantly and smoothly.
George, I'm an old man, and most people hate me, but I don't like them either, so that makes it all even. You know just as well as I do that I run practically everything in this town but the Bailey Building and Loan. You know also that for a number of years I've been trying to get control of it, or kill it, but I haven't been able to do it. You have been stopping me. In fact, you have beaten me, George. And as anyone in this county can tell you, that takes some doing. Take during the Depression, for instance. You and I were the only ones that kept our heads. You saved the building and loan, and I saved all the rest.
George.
Yeah, well, most people say you stole all the rest.
Potter.
The envious ones say that, George. The suckers. Now, I've stated my side very frankly. Now, let's look at your side. Young man, 27, 28, married, making, say, 40 a week.
George, indignantly.
45.
Potter.
45, out of which, after supporting your mother and paying your bills, you're able to keep, say, 10. If you skimp, a child or two comes along and you won't be able to save even the 10. Now, if that was a man of 28 was a common, ordinary yokel, I'd say he was doing fine. But George Bailey is not a common, ordinary yokel. He's an intelligent, smart, ambitious young man who hates his job, who hates this building and loan almost as much as I do. A young man who's been dying to get out of his on his own since he was born. A young man, the smartest one of the crowd, mind you, a young man who has to sit by and watch his friends go places because he's trapped. Yes, sir, trapped into frittering his life away playing nursemaid to a lot of garlic eaters. Ooh. Do I paint a correct picture or do I exaggerate?
George, mystified.
Now, what's your point, Mr. Potter?
Potter.
My point is I want to hire you.
George, dumbfounded.
Hire me?
Potter.
I want you to manage my affairs, run my properties, George. I'll start you out with $20,000 a year.
George drops his cigar on his lap. He nervously brushes off the sparks from his clothes. George, flabbergasted.
$20,000 a year?
Potter.
You wouldn't mind living in the nicest house in town, buying your wife a lot of nice, fine clothes, a couple of business trips to New York a year, maybe once in a while Europe. You wouldn't mind that, would you, George?
George.
Would I?
Looking around skeptically.
You're not talking to someone else around here, are you? You know, this is me. You remember me? George Bailey.
Potter.
Oh, yes, George Bailey, whose ship has just come in, providing he has brains enough to climb aboard.
George.
Well, what about the building and loan?
Potter.
Oh, confound it, man. Are you afraid of success? I'm offering you a 3-year contract at $20,000 a year starting today. Is it a deal or isn't it?
George.
Well, Mr. Potter, I ought to jump at this chance, but I just wonder if it would be possible for you to give me 24 hours to think it over.
Potter.
Sure. You go home and talk about it with your wife.
George.
I'd like to do that.
Potter.
In the meantime, I'll draw up the papers.
George.
Can I get to the next page first?
Mm-hmm.
Should we get to the last page?
All right, sir.
Potter offers hand.
Okay, George.
George taking his hand.
Okay, Mr. Potter.
As they shake hands, George feels a physical revulsion. Potter's hand feels like a cold mackerel to him. In that moment of physical contact, he knows he could never be associated with this man. George drops his hand with a shudder. He peers intently into Potter's face. George.
No, wait a minute here. I don't have to talk to anyone. I know right now, and the answer is no, doggone it, no.
Getting madder all the time.
You sit around here and you spin your little web and you think the whole world revolves around you and your money. Well, it doesn't, Mr. Potter. In the whole vast confederation of things, I'd say you're nothing but a scurvy little spider.
You.
Oh, he turns and shouts.
He turns and shouts at the goon, impassive as ever, beside Potter's wheelchair.
And that goes for you, too.
George continued. As George opens the office door to exit, he shouts at Mr. Potter's secretary in the outer office.
And it goes for you, too.
Wow.
Huh? All right, now.
Standing O.
Right, I feel like I've been molested.
Wow. The phones are lit up at 888-STERN-101. Scott and Callie, your thoughts on the acting that you just heard?
Well, Artie does the Godfather, and Levy does It's a Wonderful Life. That's awesome.
It is awesome.